I'm sure almost everyone here has had a moment in your life where your food or water did not go down correctly and you started having a coughing fit. Maybe your eyes were watered a bit and someone had to pat you on the back to clear your throat. Now imagine that scenario again, only this time whatever food you swallowed is not getting dislodged. The pat on the back isn't helping. You're not getting the oxygen you need to breathe properly. So what happens? You die. Exactly. Now you have a fraction of an understanding of the way organisms in estuaries and coastal waters feel from eutrophication. One of the main ways eutrophication happens goes like this. We have to grow plants to feed people, and aside from modifying the plants to taste good and be large enough and pretty and colorful, we have to make sure they have enough nutrients to actually grow. So we put fertilizers on our crops, and it runs off into your nearest water stream until you get to estuaries and coasts. The problem with that is that these fertilizers often contain nitrogen and phosphorus, which are elements that usually limit phytoplankton growth, but become excess from these fertilizers. Now, as I'm sure your mom or doctor has told you at least once, anything in excess can be a bad thing. These phytoplankton grow in population because of all those nutrients they now have, and their population becomes so large that they can actually cover water surface and block out sunlight, so their primary producers can't produce oxygen now. They also use up all the oxygen in the water column themselves, so organisms that need oxygen to breathe are forced to either leave or die, just like you would if there was no oxygen to breathe. I'm sure you're wondering, why does this matter to us, right? Well, the most obvious thing to say is that you're further diminishing food supply, since a record number of fish are already dying from overfishing, and now they have no oxygen to breathe. And yes, fish do breathe oxygen. The phytoplankton that brew from the excess nutrients also often produce toxins that can be deadly to humans if consumed, and you are likely to consume it whether that's through seafood or your local drinking water, because water supply testing and regulations done particularly in the US is not good enough to properly remove these deadly toxins, so now humans are dying too. Especially your poor children who swim in lakes and swallow these toxic waters that their still developing immune systems can't fight off. Also, when the phytoplankton eventually die, they produce large amounts of carbon dioxide, which lowers the pH of seawater. So now there's death across the ocean as many animals are sensitive to pH changes. So this can affect tourism globally as these common aquatic sites and activities get destroyed. So, what can we do to protect our fish and our babies and still ensure that we can go snorkeling or fishing on our own tropical islands? Well, the biggest thing that we can do is lessen the nutrients being put into the water by reducing fertilizer inputs. This means advocating for better sewage or filter systems that properly strip phosphate and nitrate from runoffs and wastes. And we can also plant buffer plants to trap eroding soil, or even petitioning your local government for better water quality testing. I have begun my journey to help this problem by spreading awareness the way that I am now. Also, as part of my future career as a marine scientist, I will forever advocate for ways to sustain human life without destroying the biodiversity we know on our planet. As Dr. Zeus once said, unless someone like you cares a whole lot, it's not going to get better. It's not. So do it for yourself and for future generation. Get up and fight to stop eutrophication.